Too often we think we know what our customers want. And too often we miss the mark and come up with ideas and solutions that our customers aren't even a little bit interested in. And the reason is very simple. We just don't ask what our customers want. One of the best ways of making sure we don't give our customers what they don't want and instead give them exactly what they want in the way they want is by asking not one person at a time, but in a group. You could, of course, have phone conversations, go out to eat, or just visit with your customers one-on-one and ask. And you would get some good information that way, but not great information. Or you could use the power of a group and start what I call a customer advisory board. And that's what today's video is all about. It's about what a customer advisory board is and some simple steps to have one established. But first, let me tell you a story about my own experience with a customer advisory board. About 20 years ago, I was putting together a new, what I thought, great financial planning format. So I put together a group of 5 or 6 business owners who I had a lot of respect for. I took them out to dinner. We had a little private room, and I passed out the report, and boy, did I get hammered. They thought the report was all about selling life insurance and had nothing to do with their full financial situation. Boy, was I taken back. I was sure that my great report I had put together was talking specifically to business owners about what they needed to do to have a fully financially free life from their business. I learned so much in that meeting and so much from my advisory board that I went back and redid all of those plans. So that one event convinced me that having a customer advisory board is not only worth the effort, it can save you from spending hours and hours and hours on projects that they're just not interested in. So here's how you get one started. First, make a list of your very best customers. The ones that pay the best and are the most fun to work with. Ask 5 to 9 of them if they would be willing to serve on your customer advisory board. Now here's what's going to happen. They'll all say yes. They'll all be flattered to be asked. And you're asking them to make your business better, which is going to benefit them. 3, and this is important, and I always get a lot of pushback on this, you must have a curmudgeon on your board. And this is the reason why. Nobody is going to tell you the truth till the board is opened up. And the board will only be opened up when their curmudgeon opens up their mouth and they say, I like what you're doing, I like your company, I think you're good, but here's where your problems are. If nobody's going to open up the space and talk about that, everyone's going to be nice. And the only way that you can make sure that the space is opened up is having that curmudgeon on your board. Now, the curmudgeon doesn't have to be rude. They have to be just the people who are willing to speak up and say things that may be a little bit uncomfortable that others aren't willing to say. Before you start your board meetings, you must make sure you have a well thought out agenda before you start your board. Now, a customer advisory board doesn't take a ton of your time, but it does take enough time for you just to think about what's a good agenda, what do you want to have accomplished in that board meeting, and what would be the most value that your best customers can bring to you about what your company should be doing. Your job in the board meeting is to ask questions and not defend how you run your business. I know it's really, really hard to sit there and listen to negative feedback or listen to positive feedback even, and you want to explain why you're doing what you're doing. Don't. That's not your purpose. When you start defending yourself and going into why you're doing what you're doing, you're going to shut down the board because the people aren't going to feel like they're being listened to. Just record the meeting. Make sure that you take really good notes and don't sit there and tell people why they're wrong and why you're right. Number 6, after the meeting, send a report about what you're going to do to the members of the board. It's really frustrating to give a whole bunch of advice and you never hear anything back from people. This happens to me all the time when I'm serving on someone else's customer advisory board. Number 7, send your board periodic updates on what you're doing. They want to stay involved. They want to know what you're doing. You might even get some phone calls from that. And Make sure that you have no more than 4 board meetings a year. I actually think 2 is enough. Some people do 3 or 4, but no more than 4. And finally, be prepared to buy dinner for everyone and get a private room in a restaurant when we can gather again. But until then, use Zoom. Zoom works pretty well for this. So I know how scary it is to start a customer advisory board. You might be scared that they'll say terrible things and all end up hating you. I can promise this won't happen. In fact, the opposite will. What's going to happen is you're going to find that over time, your customer advisory board keeps sending you those great customers that you're looking for, because the more they understand about your business, the more they can help you. And I can promise you that your best customers really do want to help you. So you deserve to know exactly what your best customers want, and an advisory board is the best way to get there. So starting an advisory board is easy. All you have to do is, number one, start by having a conversation with us about what an advisory board is and how you put it together. 2, plan and schedule your first advisory board session, or hire a coach to bring you through the process. I have a great guy I work with who is one of the best advisory board people in the country, I think, and is very, very good at helping you have an advisory board session that brings you a tremendous amount of value. And number 3, harvest the benefits of raving fans who are supporting your business and who also pay you money. Now, I would love to have a conversation with you about customer advisory boards, so feel free contacting me at jpatrick@stage2planning.com to set up a time for us to talk. In the meantime, if you're not ready to talk, download our free infographic on how to establish a customer advisory board. When you do this, you'll end up giving your customers what they don't want, or you end up stop giving your customers what they don't want, and instead give them exactly what they do want. And while you're at it, scroll down and let me know what you think about adding a customer advisory board to your company with me. Hey, this is Josh Patrick. You're at The Sustainable Business. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope to see you back here really soon.